Fine, I've done it before. Coming up today on NewsCenter 15, an update on the effects of Hurricane Michael. Amazon proposes another raise for its employees, and Marietta College prepares for homecoming weekend. We'll have these stories and more on WCMO TV at noon 30 and 6:30.
Coming up today on NewsCenter 15, Hurricane Michael makes landfall.
And Amazon readies another raise for its employees following previous backlash.
We've got these stories and more. NewsCenter 15 starts now. Good afternoon. You're watching WCMO TV on Channel 15. I'm Riley Wall.
And I'm John Powers.
Topping our news this afternoon. Powerful Hurricane Michael slammed into the Florida Panhandle with terrifying winds of 155 miles per hour Wednesday, splintering homes and submerging neighborhoods before continuing its destructive march inland across the southeast. It was the most powerful hurricane to hit the continental U.S. in nearly 50 years. The Category 4 storm crashed ashore in the early afternoon near Mexico Beach. After it ravaged the Panhandle, Michael entered South Georgia as a Category 3 hurricane, the most powerful in recorded history for that part of the neighboring state. In North Florida, Michael battered the shoreline with sideways rain, powerful gusts, and crashing waves. It also set off transformer explosions and knocked out power to more than 388,000 homes and businesses.
Amazon facing a backlash from longtime warehouse employees who say its 15-hour minimum wage wouldn't benefit them will provide a bigger raise to those workers. The company said Wednesday that some adjustments are being made this week, and workers who already made $15 an hour will get more than $1 an hour raise. Promised last week, the amount will differ by warehouse and affect a small amount of the employees, but Amazon declined to say how much. When Amazon announced last week that it wouldn't boost its hour minimum wage to $15, it also cut 2 benefits monthly, bonuses, and a chance to own Amazon stock. Currently worth nearly $1 a share, several employees told the Associated Press last week that they expected to earn less because of the cut benefits.
Well, we might be seeing signs of fall weather finally approaching.
Hey guys, so here's a quick look for your weather. Right now, the high is 70 for a day, so I mean, that's kind of high, but finally sweater weather, right? With the low of 43, so get out there and enjoy it. It feels like 69. The humidity is 93, and you can definitely tell it out there. It's like damp and oppressive. The barometer was at 29.8. The wind is moving at 5.8 miles per hour, so it's just a nice breeze to kind of keep the humidity blowing through. The dew point is at 67 degrees Fahrenheit. The UV index is 2, so it's pretty low. Don't have to worry about sunscreen so much today. Sunrise is at 7:33 a.m. and sunset is at 6:53 p.m. So back to you guys at the desk.
Federal authorities have charged a New York man with building a 200-pound bomb they say he planned to detonate on Election Day on the National Mall in Washington. Paul Rosenfeld was charged Wednesday with unlawfully manufacturing a destructive device, interstate transportation, and receipt of an explosive. Prosecutors said he planned to use the bomb to kill himself and draw attention to a political system called sortition, in which public officials are chosen randomly rather than elected.
Police at Florida Airport removed a passenger who refused. Police at Florida Airport removed a passenger who refused to get off a Cleveland-bound flight after she was found carrying an emotional support squirrel. Passengers had already boarded a Frontier Airlines flight in Orlando on Tuesday night when they were told there was a situation everyone needed to get off the plane. As it turned out, a passenger had noted in her reservation that she was bringing an emotional support animal with her. The flight had brought a squirrel. Rodents, including squirrels, are not one of the emotional support animals allowed on Frontier flights. According to its website, the airline says police were called when the passenger refused to leave the plane. The woman was then being seen escorted through the terminal, pumping her fist in the air. She clenched her carry-on bag with a squirrel on her lap.
When WCMO returns, we'll have your latest local news, including Marietta College's homecoming.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
doesn't see race. Love is love.
Marietta College is set to host its homecoming weekend starting today. A number of different events are planned as the college welcomes back a number of alumni, including the classes of 1968, 1993, and 2008. A schedule of planned events for visiting alumni can be found on the Marietta College website. The highlight event for current students will be the football game on Saturday against Wilmington College, where the Pioneers will attempt to reach a 6-0 record. Kickoff is at 1:30 p.m.
The Wood County Board of Education Tuesday began its process of creating a random drug testing policy for its students. Such a policy could go into effect as early as next school year, but officials said they wanted more information on cost of the program as well as input from parents and community members in the coming months. Students participating in any extracurricular or co-curricular activities would fall under the policy, said Superintendent Will Hausfolk. Hausfolk estimated roughly 60% of the district's student body would fall under one of these areas.
Marietta police officers, firefighters, and young Republicans have begun a canvassing campaign in support of an increase to Marietta's income tax. While some voters seem to narrowly support the effort, some voices in Marietta repeat the mantra, "taxed enough already." The issue is up for a vote in Marietta on November 6th, with the option to increase the income tax from 1.7% to 1.85%. Currently, the city is budgeted to take nearly $11 million in income tax this year from the 1.7% pulled from earned income in Marietta.
The Washington County chapter of the Ohio Genealogical Society will meet at 1 p.m. October 20th in the lower level meeting room of Washington County Public Library, 615 5th Street, Marietta. The speaker will be Jane Young, who will present Red Cross Nurses of Washington County in World War I. Visitors are always welcome at the meetings, and there will be free parking as well.
Coming up, we'll have an update on the case of a West Virginia justice.
We'll have this story and more after the break.
And you can't forget about the weather, of course, that's coming up too. And I'll be right back with your 5-day forecast after the break.
November is No Shaver Month at City of Hope. That means throughout November, to raise awareness about prostate cancer, City of Hope is urging men to stop shaving and get screened. But here's my problem. When I grow out my beard, I end up like this. I mean, have you ever? And you know how long this took me? What do I have? A couple of little hairs here? I mean, man, it's useless. How about this? How about this? Very Lincoln-esque, don't you think? How about this? Oh, you put them. Well, that's not the way I heard it. For all you men watching, do what I can't. Let your beards grow. And while you're at it, get screened. No shaver with City of Hope. Grow it, show it, know it.
A federal judge rejected a voting rights group's latest arguments Wednesday that voters were illegally purged from Ohio's voting rolls. U.S. District Judge George C. Smith largely sided with the state's arguments, defending confirmation notices sent to voters that set off a removal process tied to failure to participate in the election process, in another blow to the A. Philip Randolph Institute. The Institute's broader argument that Ohio's election administration process was unconstitutional lost in the U.S. Supreme Court in June, but the group continued to contest the legality of the notices.
A suspended West Virginia Supreme Court justice who says trips he took using a court-issued vehicle were justified actually stole from the state. A federal prosecutor said in closing arguments Wednesday at the Justice criminal trial, federal jurors began deliberations Wednesday afternoon before heading home for the day. In the trial of Justice Alan Laurie, who accused of driving state cars and buying gasoline with a state-owned credit card for his own benefit, most of the 22 counts are for wire fraud. Others include mail fraud, making false statements, and witness tampering.
The former Cleveland police officer who fatally shot Tamir Rice has decided not to accept a part-time position with a small Southeast Ohio department. WTOV-TV reports Bel Air Police Chief Richard Flanagan confirmed Wednesday that Timothy Lohman had withdrawn his application. Flanagan has said he offered Lohman a job because he believes in second chances. A certain streaming service is celebrating a milestone and figuring out who you've been listening to the most.
Spotify is 10 years old, and the music streaming service has run the numbers. Drake is Spotify's most streamed artist ever, followed by Ed Sheeran, whose Shape of You is the service's most streamed song ever. The LA coroner says Vern Troyer died by suicide as a result of alcohol intoxication. The 2-foot 8-inch tall actor who played Mini-Me in Austin Powers died at a California hospital in April. He was 49. Katy Perry is set to be honored for her humanitarian work. The Foundation AIDS Research plans to pay tribute to Perry for the singer's commitment to the fight against AIDS. In other causes, she will be lauded at a black tie event in Los Angeles on October 8th in Hollywood. My name is Jared Ruffin, and this is Entertainment for the Day.
Thank you, Jared. Now we'll head over to Jessica for a look at the weather.
How does it look out there, Jessica?
Well, you know, here we are. It's the weather. We have some green coming up here, which means it's about the 60s, which, like I said earlier, that's around where we want to be, sweater weather. Down here around where the hurricanes are coming, you can see it's getting hotter. They have a lot more probably humidity too. It looks like as we get closer to the coast, it's starting to warm up. And as you can see on our next chart, that we do have some high temperatures as well. So whereas on the previous chart it said like the high was around 60, as here the low was around 60, we can see that's getting closer like maybe the 70s to around our area of Ohio. Here you can see like all of our nice humidity and precipitation coming in. Like you heard about that Hurricane Michael, which is around there blowing through. We are going to get some of that precipitation, probably some rainfalls coming through our area, but not nearly as bad as they're having on the coast. Here you can see it zoomed in even closer. You can see down in Charleston they're getting a whole bunch, but Pittsburgh they're getting some, but thankfully our little red dot is like right on the edge, so we won't be getting that much hopefully. And here's our 5-day forecast. You can see starting Thursday, we're going to have some rain with a high of 69, a low of 43. That's not too bad. Friday, it's going to be sunny, always cloudy, sunny. That's okay. The high is a little bit lower, 54, so maybe some thicker sweaters, and a low of 42. And then Saturday, we have some rain, so wear like raincoats with the high of 52 and a low of 41. Sunday, it's going to be raining again, basically raining all weekend with a high of 57 and a low of 51. And then Monday, even more rain just to brighten things up with a high of 56 and a low of 42. So wear your raincoats. It's going to start raining.
Thank you, Jessica. When we come back, Matt Yates will join us with an update on the world of sports.
See you in a few.
Cancer may be tough, but we are tougher. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Our game-changing research has led to the belief that the cures for cancer are in our blood. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Beating cancer is in our blood.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, hi, what's your name? You live around here? You're pretty. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Guess it's about time to get you fixed, sweetie.
Your pets will start getting noticed sooner than you think. Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
We are now back. Here's Matt Yates with an update in the world of sports.
What's the latest, Yates?
Well, there will not be an 8th NASCAR title for Jimmy Johnson and Chad Noss. Hendrick Motorsports will split the driver and crew chief, the longest pairing in NASCAR, at the end of a disappointing season. Johnson has not won a race in almost 17 months and was knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. Johnson and Noss won their record-tying 7th championship in 2016, but have slumped in the 2 years since. In baseball playoffs, the championship series in the Major League Baseball playoffs has been set for both leagues. The Milwaukee Brewers will host the Los Angeles Dodgers starting on Friday. On Saturday, the Boston Red Sox, fresh off their series victory against the New York Yankees, will host the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. Both series will be a best-of-7 set, and they will determine who reaches the World Series. Right-handed reliever Kyle Barraclough was acquired by Washington from Miami on Wednesday in the Nationals' first offseason move to rebuild their bullpen. Washington sent the Marlins $1 million in international slot allotment as a part of the deal. Barraclough went 1-6 with a 4.2 ERA and 10 saves in 17 chances during 61 appearances on the year. He allowed 1 hit in 36 at-bats in June when he was chosen NL Reliever of the Month, but struggled with his command the rest of the season. In football news, Nate Orchard, a former top draft pick for the Cleveland Browns, will finally be playing again, this time suiting up for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Orchard signed with the Kansas City Chiefs on Wednesday to shore up their pass rush besieged by injuries. The Chiefs have become the trendy pick to win the AFC after routing the Jaguars last week, and they can validate those hopes with a win Sunday in New England. That's all for sports today. I'm Matt Yates.
Thank you, Matt. Now Jessica Hill joins us one last time for a look at the weather.
So, it's finally starting to cool down. It's not really all that hot anymore. But sadly, we do have all of that rain coming through, which is very unfortunate, especially if you don't want to get rained on when you're walking to classes or you're enjoying your weekend. So this is a good weekend to plan to have indoor events. Not really outside. Not a good weekend for a picnic.
All right, thanks for joining us for Thursday's edition of WCMO TV Channel 15 at noon 30 and 6:30. From all of us here at the station, we wish you a great weekend.
Meet Candace. This senior basketball player loves to spend time hanging out before class with her best friend and education major Shelby. Shelby knows the best place to study is at the Calafi Cafe, where she can compare notes with baseball player Ryan and get a great cup of coffee too. In the off-season, Ryan tries his best when he's shooting hoops with broadcasting major Gage in the Dyson Baudo Recreation Center, home of Fenton Court. Gage, as producer at WCMO 15 News, runs the control room, where he shows the ropes to Mary, a junior volleyball player and advertising and public relations major. Mary loves to spend her free time drawing down at the Herman Fine Arts Center, where her sorority sister Madison majors in studio art. Madison meets up downtown with junior rower Katie. Downtown's where you can get beautiful river views, specialty stores, and the best root beer in Ohio. Katie heads back to campus just in time for a class in the Rickey Science Center with who else